everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy who has a certain je ne sais quoi. Coming to you from a classic bench, I am your host, Steve Squirrel, and co-hosting this week with me is a good friend and Patreon of the show, Carrie Schumann.
Hi!
Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our Patreons. Well, first we got our original Patreon sitting or co-hosting right over there. Carrie Schumann, thank you so much as always. And then, of course, Anita Anderson, Kathy Clausen, Honeybee, and Kira. It's because of your continued support that we're able to do all the fun things that we're able to do. We're really trying to make our first show goal and need your help. So if you're able to support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. It's a good way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Now, in case you haven't heard, we are having a giveaway for 3 mystery legendary chests. You need to know the 5 secret words and unscramble them into a well-known Disney phrase. When you figure out the phrase, you'll know which chests we're giving away. On last week's show, we had the first word, and since then we've had 2 secret words on our Facebook page and 1 on our Twitter page. On today's show, we will have the final word of the secret phrase, so keep listening. And if you missed any of the words, listen to last week's show and make sure to check out our social media sites to get them. Once you've got the phrase, you're going to need to go to the giveaway site and put your entry in. Make sure you put the phrase in the correct order for your entry to count. The link to the giveaway site will be in the show notes and is on our Facebook and Twitter pages as well. The giveaway is live, and entries are open now and are good through Saturday night at midnight Eastern Daylight Time. So get your entries in as soon as possible so that you don't miss out on your chance to get these 3 mystery legendary chests. Whew, alright. The kingdom is always changing. So for reference, this show is being recorded Wednesday, April 3rd at around 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Carrie, good to have you on the show. So glad you're here. How was your week?
Nice.
How was your week in the kingdom?
So I welcomed Timothy Q. Mouse. Yay. And I built Dumbo's flying elephant, which is
very nice.
Absolutely adorable.
Yes.
And I started working on Dumbo.
I love that ride, I just have to say, and I think they did a really good job with the animation of it.
It's adorable. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite rides in the park, in the kingdom right now. Plus, it's Dumbo, so.
Yes, we're happy to have you on to talk all things Dumbo. I'd really love to get your take on it once we're done talking about our week in the kingdom.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just started on Dumbo 2 days ago, and he's looking like a very Peter Pan-esque character. It's going very, very slow, but I will have him.
Yes.
So, and then I got all the Rapunzel storyline leveled up to 10.
Good.
And then Shere Khan to 10.
Woo.
And I'm trying to get all the characters that have tokens that are in the platinum chests to 10. Because they're all at 9, so their tokens aren't in the chest anymore.
Right.
But I'm worried that they're going to do a rebalance.
Right.
And then I'll get their tokens in the chests again. So I think after Shere Khan now, all I have left is the Evil Queen. I can't remember who else was in the platinum chest anymore, though.
The Evil Queen stuff is just epic, though. It's not legendary.
No, but it's in the platinum chest.
Yeah, well, it is in the platinum chest, but it's legendary. Yeah, like, for me, I definitely was doing the same thing. I had the same concept, but I was focusing, because I have too many epics, I was focusing on just legendaries first. Like, I was making sure to get Mother Gothel done, and Donald done, so that they weren't, conflicting, like, if I got a legendary item, because I'll tell you, I think out of my platinum chest openings recently, I opened 4 platinum chests, and 3 of them were Donald hats, and 1 of them was Mother Gothel ears, and it was just
Donald's hats. Ugh.
yeah, they were. It was very
So many hats.
very depressing.
Yeah.
So that I said I'm not doing anything else with platinum chests till I get all these tokens out of there. So
Yeah,
good,
I
good,
did that too
smart move.
I did that too for a while, and I got all of them to 9, and then I just sat there because I didn't used to like doing the 16 and 24-hour ones because I used to be able to play every couple hours, and now that I'm only playing about 3 or 4 times a day, those 16 and 24 hours are nice because I'm not looking at it for a while. So now a
Yep.
lot of my higher level characters are getting maxed out.
Yeah. No, absolutely,
And
and that's one thing we always like to say too is like play play your stuff and level your characters according to life, right? Like
yeah,
for me, like if you're gonna be home like farting around and you can do 2-hour quests or 4-hour quests and 4-hour levels, like bang those out. You know, try to do as many as you can. But like you got a lot going on. Like I know I have like a hectic day at work, so tonight like I'm probably gonna send someone out either on a 16 or a 24 because I just don't
yeah,
want to have to think about it. You know.
yeah. I just sent who did I just level? I just sent someone to level up. No, I haven't sent anyone to level up yet. I got to pick my person. It'll probably actually. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the Evil Queen. Will be my level.
Smart move. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
And then I checked my lifetime visitors board. It's actually been going up since I typed it out. It's 46,182,593,456. Okay. Anyway, I am at rank 34,351.
34,000. Wow,
Yes.
that's pretty awesome.
In my friend's board, I'm in 3rd place though, behind the fabulous Connie from the Disney Magic Kingdoms game group, and a friend of mine, Hope, and then I'm in 3rd place. So,
Nice.
and there's only 5 friends that play it, so I like the lifetime board better.
Yeah, lifetime board is where it's at. Very cool, awesome. Well, that's cool. You had a good week in the kingdom. My week in the kingdom was a lot of fun as well. Finally decided that I was gonna welcome Wendy to the kingdom. I wanted to make sure I got hooked to 10, which I did. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I welcomed Wendy to the kingdom. I'd been holding back on it for a while. I've been talking for maybe like a month, at least more than a month on the show about just kind of holding my storyline back for a while and not really wanting to go because I saw the light was at the end of the tunnel. And but I just decided, you know, with the content out there now, the Peter Pan content that I don't have, the Dumbo content that just came out, like I want it. You know, I want to keep moving along. So I welcomed her. I got her to 2, and then I was able to build Peter Pan's Flight, which is a really, really cool looking attraction. Yeah. It's one that my daughter was actually just telling me that she's looking forward to going when we go to Disney this year. She's looking forward to going on. She was actually scared to go on it last year because she was afraid of heights. And even though you're not really very high, like it seems like you're high, you know, to a 4.
Well, when you're
to a 4,
1.5 feet off the ground,
right.
You know,
but to
everything's
a 4,
high.
Right, exactly. So, but she said she's really looking forward to going out this year, so I'm excited for that. And the cost to build it wasn't bad. It was only $200,000, which is not bad. You know, after building the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, that was $500,000. I thought I was going to get slammed with this, but it wasn't bad at all.
You know, Dumbo's flying elephant, I don't think was very expensive either. I've actually been kind of impressed. Some of the later storyline stuff, the attractions aren't super expensive.
Yeah, which is interesting because that's kind of when you can afford it.
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, I think it's like 600,000. Hold on, I'm trying to look. But yeah, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 600,000.
All right. So yeah, so now I actually just got Wendy to 3 now, and I sent her out on another Kingdom quest. So we'll see. I don't like to look at the wiki and see what's coming. I like to, you know, read the storyline and be surprised. So we will see what's going on with that. But I'm excited to kind of get my Peter Pan story moving along.
So you haven't started collecting for Peter Pan yet?
No.
So you don't know yet.
I don't know anything. I haven't collected for Peter or Michael Darling or any of them. I don't.
I waited a long time for Michael. I was like you. It was the last thing. I had no desire to end the storyline, so I just held him for probably until just a few months ago.
Yeah.
So
I also made the decision I was going to welcome Shere Khan. He was also someone else that I was holding back on. But I figure I'm moving along. I might as well bring him to the kingdom. He's technically just considered a side quest, so I don't think that anything happens after you get him. I think you just get him, and that's like it. But you know, he's not going to be a fun guy to work on because I know his stuff is legendary, so I might as well just get him rolling and get the fun going.
yeah.
So for leveling, I did a lot of leveling this week. Wow. The highlights being that I did get King Louie and Hook to 10 just in time for Chapter 3. I was working really, really hard because I needed them so badly for this chapter if I really wanted to have a shot at the cup of tea. So I did. And they're going out a lot. Hook is my only character. Actually, now Wendy technically is in my Peter Pan, but she's level 3, so she's not ever going out. So Hook has been drunk on hot cocoa for this entire chapter and will be for the next day and a half. And now I'm focusing on my Snow White characters. And I actually have a lot of them level. I think everyone was ready to level, and they've all been leveled. The only one that's sitting ready to level is Grumpy, because he's at 9. So basically, I just, like, if I need to pull the trigger, I'll pull the trigger on him. Why am I leveling my Snow White characters? A little bit more to come on that in a little bit. We will
now,
get to that soon.
How did you get Grumpy? Did you play the Snow White event?
No, I was not around for the Snow White event, so I got him in a legendary chest.
Did you win him, or did you win all his tokens? Because I think for a while they still did the legendary chest where he was the only character you couldn't outright win.
No,
he still had to win his tokens.
I got him. I just, he was just a legendary character that I just clicked on and got. His tokens are still in the chest.
Okay.
But so like by the time I had bought a couple of bundles. I think I bought maybe 5 bundles to get the whole collection, and my daughter and I opened them all up. And by the time it was said and done, I had enough tokens to get Grumpy to, I think, 5.
Wow.
Because they give you tokens and stuff. They're actually the best chests, the best legend. You get the most bang for your buck out of those chests than any other chests out there.
Yeah, he was. I'm glad they've never repeated that
Grumpy Gate. Yeah.
Grumpy Gate. Which again goes to Game Loft really paying attention to things.
But as a side thing here, I mean, now you have certain attractions or concessions, for example, that are related to storyline. For example, the Dumbo ones that are only available in chess.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about them ears, right?
They're only available in chess, and I mentioned this last week. But everyone kind of expected that the rewards for the Tower Challenge would be the peanut stand, then the slushy stand, and then the grand prize would be the Dumbo ears. But no, they've gone to putting them in chests, and I think I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I think it's a bad move.
I mean, but they move things around too, and they cycle things around. But I didn't realize that there were 3 different style chests for each of the chapters. So I didn't buy any of the first chapter chest packs to even try to get the ears, because I thought, well, I got 3 free sets throughout the 3 chapters. And then chapter 2 started, and I was like, where did the ears go? And I realized my error, and I was so angry.
Yeah.
So I didn't even give myself an opportunity to try to get the ears.
Yeah, that's tough.
So now I'm just out of protest, refusing to try to get the other concession stands.
Yeah, well, for me, the ears was the only one I actually wanted. So unfortunately, it took me entirely too many bundles to get it. But
I've never been much into the concessions. I mean, I like them, but I don't have to have them the way I do the attractions and the characters.
Sure, totally agree, but the Dumbo ears totally caught me. I don't know why. They got me.
One of the rare ones that I was really excited. Well, and you were talking about last week too. That they brought back some stands that you wish they hadn't.
Right.
The only stand I wish they would bring back that they've never brought back is the 60th anniversary ear concession stand with the sparkle glitter ears.
Right. Yeah.
You had to have been playing when that, and it's the only concession they've never re-released.
And
So,
I hope they don't.
Well, I'm like, if you're going to bring all the other ones back.
All right, we got to keep moving here.
Okay.
So my lifetime visitors board, I'm up to rank 118,519. Wow, good progress. So here you come, top 100,000. I'm coming. All right.
Well,
So let's move on to the newcomer tip of the week. Carrie, what do you got for us this week?
it's probably a little unpopular, but my tip when I started playing, and I still do, is I don't buy anything until I have at least double the magic. Because here's my thought on it. If you need, let's say you want to buy the 500,000 plot of land and you save 500,000 and then you spend it all and you get to 0, now you can't do anything else. You can't level other characters, you can't open more land, you can't buy any concessions, you basically stopped your entire game progress. Whereas if you wait until you have $1 million to buy the 500,000 plot of land, then you're still able to play the game. You're able to level characters, buy attractions, buy things like that. You just play with a little less space, and you slow your storyline down a little bit, but you still get to continue doing other things. And so I think that's it's made the gameplay for me move smoother. So I don't ever have where I'm just like out of magic completely.
Okay.
But it's probably unpopular.
Yeah. No, listen, everyone has their own way of playing, and everyone gets nuggets from every tip of the week, whether it's exactly how they play or, maybe they might be like, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Maybe I'll do, 1.5 times. Maybe that will work for somebody. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, I didn't buy certain things because I didn't want to go bankrupt at certain points. There are definitely times where you don't want to go bankrupt, especially right now. I'm not going to buy anything big because I'm on a leveling frenzy, and I don't want to not have magic to level. I've spent probably like 200,000 magic potions in the last like 2 or 3 days just leveling characters. So,
well, I think it's even more important to keep some magic handy now than ever because of all the balancing and with how quickly events are coming, like just the pace one right after another.
Yep.
You need to make sure you've got magic to level characters for the next event, for the next balancing. And if you're bankrupting yourself every time to open land or, buy an attraction, like you can't do that, and then you might find yourself behind in an event or on the wrong end of a balancing update.
Sure. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you, Carrie. That was an awesome tip, and I definitely agree. You want to have some magic stashed. Now, another thing I want to throw out there real quick is a tidbit that I learned this week. So I think this is a valuable newcomer tip too. We were having a discussion on Twitter, and I learned this week something I didn't know, is that you can actually spend gems to refresh a tired character. I had always talked about, or at least thought about in tower challenges, just speeding up, by when you start the challenge, you can spend 8 gems because it's a 2-hour long quest, basically, or task, adventure, whatever you want to call it. And so you could spend the 8 gems to speed that up and finish it right away. But if you were out of cocoa, I thought you were out of luck. But actually, no, you can spend 6 gems to refresh a tired character. Very cool. So thanks to Emmy91 on Twitter for pointing this out.
I had no idea, actually.
Yeah, there you go. She's been playing since the beginning right there. So,
no, not quite, but close.
All right, so let's move on into the game news. So before we get into the big stuff that we want to talk about this week, we had something happen here in the United States and possibly all around the world. April 1st was April Fool's Day. Last year, from what I heard, I wasn't around at the time, the calendar award was a sapphire chest.
It was mean.
And people were like, oh, sapphire chest, because if you remember on Christmas, it gives you any one of the premium characters or attractions you don't have. But in this sapphire chest, there was nothing but benches. So that was their Game Loft's little April Fool's joke on everyone. This year, they did something really funny and made a classic bench. the reward for April 1st. And then the calendar that they showed had almost every day as an attraction or a reward, and they were all benches, different benches that you could get from all the different things, the aquatic benches and Snow White bench and wooden bench and every kind of bench you could imagine. It was really funny, very funny to look at. There's plenty of screenshots all over the place if you want to check it out on the pages. And then in the news section, in the top right where they have the little envelope, they put a little tidbit out about the benches, basically saying like how awesome benches are. And they were talking about how many benches people have gotten and how many benches have been sent to Merlin since the game started.
Like all of them.
Yeah, like millions and millions and millions of benches have been blown up to Elixir. So it was very cool. It was a fun little thing that they did. And then, so that was it. That was a fun thing. So kudos to Gameloft for making a little bit of fun.
It was really clever. I found their little facts amusing. Last year's was hilarious too, because they had a little taunting screen after you collected. It had like a little pop-up. It said, "Happy April Fools, enjoy your bench." Like taunting us, and people didn't get it right away, and so you go into the communities so angry.
Yeah.
And then,
So
but this year was good too. Like I was really, really impressed.
Yeah. And then so that was it. So then April 2nd rolled around yesterday, and the calendar came back to normal. And Disney Magic Kingdoms updated their little news feed to say that the calendar was back to normal after a curse hit the kingdom. So the April Fool's Day curse is gone. So now we can see the calendar, and other people have seen the calendar, including our famous friends, the Chinese hackers. And so we might have a little bit of information on what we might think is upcoming a little later on in the show. The other thing that we wanted to put out there was a new survey in the game. A little pop-up came up today with Mickey Mouse saying that they would love for you to take a survey. So what did you do today when the survey came up, Carrie? Did you take it?
Well, I took it because I wanted to counteract all the people that have been saying they want more events more frequently and say, no, slow it down. And I got to, do you have any kids? And I said, no. And they said, thanks, have a nice day. So they weren't interested in me today. So.
Yeah, it did seem like a very kid-based one. I do have children, so it asked me if I had any kids under 13 in the house that I played with. So I said yes. So it asked me a lot of questions about how do we play together? Why do we play together? Who is the decision maker in the house? Obviously, it's not me. And lots of things like that. So it was interesting to take. I mean, they use the information. I don't know, for evil. I don't know if Maleficent, takes it all and does something with it, or if Merlin just conjures it into Elixir, but I took it.
Well, I think it's cool because, I feel like they recognize a lot of their players are adults, but seeing, how adults are playing with their children and how this game is a family interaction, too. And maybe they'll come up with new ways to add more features and things that can appeal to people who are playing in that way.
I hope so.
I don't know what kind of feature. Maybe someone else can come up with something. Yeah.
Feature report idea. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's, it would be, if I had a kid, this is the kind of thing I'd want to with them. So.
Cool. All right. So that's the news we have for that right now. So let's move on into the news of what everyone's been doing over the past week. We talked last week on the show about Chapter 2 of the Tower Challenge. So it was kind of in the middle of Chapter 2. So, we had already mentioned, the featured character was Mad Hatter. The attraction that you could get was the Golden Afternoon. And the Radiant Chests were the bundle where you could get the slushy stand as well as all the other stuff in there for the chapter. We talked about all that stuff and the progress rewards. We talked about the Disney Magic Kingdom stand being the the second anniversary stand being the reward for that chapter, and the Alice in Wonderland side quest that began. So
they were cute.
Yeah, so let's.
I thought they were adorable.
The side quests.
The side quests.
Yeah.
I love the Mad Hatter. I kept hearing his voice when I read the dialogue and everything, so I thought it was cute. So.
You know, when I read the dialogue now, I usually hear Disney Girl's impersonations of the events.
Does she do the Mad Hatter?
She does everybody. She's fantastic. So
she should do the Mad Hatter. I would love to hear that. I think he's got such a fun voice.
Yeah. So so that's it. So let's just wrap up chapter 2. I don't want to spend too much time on it. How did you do? Were you able to complete the progress and get the stand? Did you what were your thoughts on just chapter 2 in general?
I did complete it. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many gems I spent, just to try to keep up with the tokens and everything so that I could get LeFou. I'm gonna really need to reassess how I do tower challenges now that my game style has changed so dramatically, because I can't afford to keep gemming them like I did. So I did get the concession as well, my second anniversary stand.
2 elixir.
Probably will go. I know, a whole 2 elixir.
2 elixir.
So I'm going to hang on to it because they have changed the amounts that stuff is worth in Merlin's shop before. I've seen things go from 2 to 50 to 70 or back to 2, or from 70 to 2, and so they have rebalanced that in the past. I'm going to hold out. I don't usually do my 2s. I kind of wait and hope they balance them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gemmed a lot, and I did complete it though. So.
Cool. Yeah, I was able to complete chapter 2 as well. I did get the stand. It is sitting. I did not blow it up yet because I don't want to spend the magic to blow it up right now. But yeah, the Alice in Wonderland side quests were cute. I did them in chapter 3, but they were really cute. Yeah, so I'm going to jump around to now, and let's talk about the event. So as you know, for event of the week, there are no events that happen during the tower challenges. The events are the tower challenge points themselves. So chapter 2, ranks 1 through 10, got Maleficent Horn Stand, 1,000 EC and 2 refreshers. 11 through 50 got 1,000 EC and 2 refreshers. And then 51 through 450 all got 2 refreshers with decreasing amounts of EC down the way, and then the rest just got currency. So how did you do with that? I know you spent a lot of gems. Were you able to get on the leaderboards?
No. I didn't get a stand or anything. I got the 3rd place one, I believe. Okay. I know you just said it, but I already forgot.
So
but yeah, I got
probably 2 refreshers and maybe like 750 or 800 EC.
Yeah, something like that, because I did manage to, my lunch break kind of coincided that day with the refresh, and so I did actually start when it started, and so I got on a pretty competitive board. And honestly, I have like 2 Maleficent hat stands already, and I only keep 1 of each, so I don't really get really competitive with the stands. I'd like the EC is what I wanted, but it wasn't a huge difference between the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as far as EC. Yeah. That it wasn't, and since I didn't really have a shot, it wasn't worth my freaking out about it.
Well, I freaked out. I freaked out. No, because I actually was available to kind of freak out a little bit and stay on top of it for once. So. I was doing that, but also, like I mentioned in the last show, I sadly spent entirely too much money trying to get the Dumbo hat stand, and as a side effect of that, I had a lot of cocoa, like a lot. Like I'm not gonna even say how much cocoa I had because it's just obscene. So I was able to just keep blasting people out nonstop. I
wish you could have shared some with me.
And so the thing too about it is that I usually only keep 1 of each stand. And then I realized the Maleficent horn stands are 700 elixir each.
Yeah, they are. They're high end.
700 elixir. Do you know how many benches that is? That's a lot of benches.
It's like 1,400 benches.
Well, it's 20 a bench times 5 would be...
Oh, I was thinking the classic bench, which is in the shop. It's 2.
It was 2, yeah, okay. I was thinking the wooden benches. But yes, no, it's a lot of benches. But no, really, it's a lot of elixir. So I'm trying to at least, like, to me, like, add that into the cost of how much I spent on Dumbo stands. She'd be like, well, at least I got 1,400 elixir, you know, or whatever. So
yeah.
So chapter 1, I got the horn stand. Chapter 2, I got the horn stand, and I am rank 8 right now in chapter 3, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get another stand and do the stand trifecta, if you will.
I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
I spent yesterday, basically I did the math for the remaining reward. I know we haven't gotten to chapter 3. In chapter 3 that had EC, as well as the side quest rewards, and then how much I would be short my tokens and welcome cost for LeFou, and I just gemmed them to that. And as a result, I'm number 1 in my board.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if I'm going to stay that way, but that was kind of a nice side effect of all the... I used to have, almost 1,300 gems, and I'm just barely above 1,000 now. So I've spent...
Yeah, that's a lot of gems.
A lot.
You're well stocked.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of a hoarder of my gems, though. So, like, that's why.
All right, Elsa, let it go. Let it go. All right. Chapter 3, since we're talking about it, let's get into it. The featured character, the Beauty and the Beast. So it ran from March 31st through April 5th. It was corrected there. The featured character is Beast, available for 1,750 EC. Featured attraction was Beast's Castle for 500 EC. This is not the first rodeo that Beasts and Beast Castle have been in a tower challenge. I believe 2 tower challenges ago, they were the first chapter. And so a little disappointing for people trying to collect new characters that are newer players.
Well, they do it because, I mean, I at least thought, because Beast is the first character in the event. And his castle, I believe, was the first attraction you build. Correct.
That's why they do it. What I'm saying, though, is that when you look at this tower challenges from the perspective of a newer player, they go into the event saying, I'm not going to get LeFou. How can I maximize the tower challenge? And for them, it's to try to get the new characters. They can get, the featured character and work to get enough EC to get the featured attraction. But this was just 2 tower challenges ago. They were already using the Beauty and the Beast. So
I have a theory about why they did Beauty and the Beast again, though.
Well, why did they do Beauty and the Beast again? Tell me.
Okay, because I was thinking about it. I said there's no rhyme or reason because there's no Beauty and the Beast anything coming out. There's like 100 other Disney titles coming out that they could have done an event for. But the featured character is LeFou, right?
Yes.
That's the new character. And this event runs over April Fool's Day. LeFou means the fool. So we're getting a fool for April Fool's Day.
That is a very, very observant thing.
Because I otherwise it makes no sense. So even if that's not why Game Loft choose to believe they're that clever, because if that's why they did it, I'm quite impressed. Actually, that was clever. That's some like layered Disney joke happening.
That's like Inception of Disney jokes happening there. Game Loft, if you're listening, I want to know, did you do that on purpose? Let us know.
I would love to know too, and yes. At the same time, I don't want to know because I like to believe that
it's the magic.
But there's no other reason. Because there's plenty of other character sets that haven't been used in the Tower Challenge yet, and characters that haven't. And granted, Beauty and the Beast hasn't been a featured character set yet, but they've been in Tower Challenges. Yeah. So it just, and to feature Beauty and the Beast now when there's all kinds of Disney titles coming out soon, like it didn't make any sense.
Well, I don't think that necessarily they needed to tie this Tower Challenge into a movie because they were releasing Dumbo content at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I kind of looked at this as just another Tower Challenge. So maybe they did this because there's nothing Beauty and the Beast coming out, and they want to do things later. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Aladdin Tower Challenge coming up sometime soon. All right, but anyway, the available premium character bundle was Mrs. Potts. It was $3.99 and included the Creperie concession stand. I actually got Mrs. Potts out of the legendary chest last go around 2 tower challenges ago, so I didn't have to buy her, which was nice. The ruby chests contained the peanut concession stand. I did not crack one this time, and I was not going to try to crack one out of bundles or buy the gems. So they're available for 25 gems each, or 6 for $2.99. They have the peanut concession stand in them, event currency, cocoa, happiness, and tokens for characters.
I was disappointed with the peanut concession stand. It looks exactly like popcorn.
I said the very same thing and completely agree with you. This unlike the Dumbo ears, this stand does nothing for me.
Yeah, I was not.
Yep.
I considered buying a pack just for the EC, and then I looked at how much EC was in there, and I just couldn't justify.
Yep, it wasn't even guaranteed. So.
Yeah, exactly. So.
All right, and then of course, with the release of the chapter, Beauty and the Beast legendary chests became available for 60 gems each, or the usual price of 6 for $9.99 US, and they will be available through the end of the Tower Challenge, which is just in 2 days. So the Tower Challengers, as we already kind of knew, thanks to our good old friends, the Chinese hackers, we need to name them one day, but not today. That would be a good contest. Name the Chinese hackers. But all right, the Tower Challengers, as we knew, there were some miscellaneous ones. There was Mickey, King Louie, Tia Dalma, and the Ringmaster in slot 1. The princesses, Aurora, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Belle in slot 2. Peter Pan characters are Peter Pan, Wendy, and Captain Hook in slot 3. And then, of course, in slot 4 is the Beauty and the Beast characters. They have Cogsworth, Lumiere, Chip, and Gaston. And the featured character was Beast. So those were your challengers to send out every 2 hours. Then
terrible package.
Then your progress rewards. Basically, you got some ruby chests, a fantasy well, and then of course the grand prize of this chapter was the Cup of Tea stand for 52,000 points, which is a lot of points. And then of course you get the side quests for Beauty and the Beast. So, let's talk Chapter 3. Carrie, what did you think about this chapter specifically?
I think because, like I said, my gameplay has changed so dramatically, I don't think I really appreciated how hard tower challenges are for people who can't play throughout the day. So I'm going to have to re-strategize before the next tower challenge, because it was very expensive. And I'm a completionist, but what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to figure out about how much I spent, and it might just be cheaper just to wait till the character gets put in legendary chests and just buy legendary chests, because I have all the other characters, so it would be the only character in whatever chest that is, rather than trying to try for the tower challenge. But I did get LeFou.
Good.
I don't know if I'll get the teacup, which is cute though. I'm kind of bummed, but.
Yeah, I've actually heard a few people say that. I will get to that in the overall thoughts in a moment. Chapter 3, I thought was itself was basically on par with a Chapter 3 difficulty. I didn't like we'd been talking in other tower challenges about how they were consistently ramping up the difficulty, and I feel like they took a step back, which is nice because the last one was a little over the top. Having Peter Pan as a whole slot was difficult, but it definitely made it hard for some people. But I know, good friends of the show, Allison, the other moderator in our group, she didn't have a single one, and she's gonna get Gaston. She'll probably get him. I'm sorry, she'll get LeFou. She'll probably have him enough to get him in the morning. Like, she just really worked hard. But you needed to be around every 2 hours, and that's the thing. You need to be able to send them out as hard as you can, as often as you can. You need to be on top of your cocos. But it gives me the pause to say what Connie always says, which is, if you want it, you can get it, and just just work hard, and you can get it. And Allison did. A lot of my other friends did. But at the same time, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think that the chapter was okay. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Everyone expects the progress reward to be rather difficult, but obtainable.
I didn't have an issue with it. I think I was surprised at how hard they are with my gameplay having changed so much.
Yeah.
I still did what I had to do to get it because I wanted it, and I'm not mad. That's why I save my gems for things like this, so.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Cool. Well, so that was chapter 3. So the other thing about chapter 3 is the event. So ranks 1 through 10 are the horn stand once again. But instead of EC now, you'll be getting 15 gems and 3,500 magic. Rank 11 through 25 is 15 gems and 3,000 magic. 26 through 50 is 10 gems and 3,000 magic. 51 through 100, 7 gems, 2,500 magic, etc., 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 down the board. After 200, you just get magic. So this is, the typical farewell type of stuff from Disney, from Chapter 3 in Tower Challenges. I will let everyone know how I do on the different social media sites. I am hoping for the Horn Trifecta. I'd love to have another 2,100 Elixir, because I am so far behind on those attractions. So I'd love to get something else new. I'm really saving up. I really want the Toy Story Mania, because there's that feeling inside that says that attraction's going to be very valuable in a few months when that movie comes out. So
I've been trying to decide what my next attraction is, because I got like 40,000 elixirs. I can't decide, so I might have to consider that one.
I think Toy Story Mania is definitely, over things like Carousel of Progress or ones that you've passed that you don't need anymore. Like if you don't have Davy Jones Oregon and like you've done all the pirate stuff, like don't get Davy Jones Oregon. I think Toy Story is gonna be big. It hasn't been used for anything yet, so
yeah. I think that's probably a good guess.
Because it doesn't drop tokens for anything, right? It doesn't even drop like tokens for the older characters, right?
Not that I've ever seen.
Okay, I'm doing some on the show research here.
It's
So let's see with Toy Story Mania, because it can be purchased with Elixir. It is instant, 30,000, and no, it does not drop anything right now. So there's no tasks associated with it, nothing. It is just the attraction. I'm telling you, I'm calling it.
I mean, I don't need the Primeval World because I finished the Cinderella and Jumpin' Jellyfish. That helps with Michael, but he's actually not so bad. So yeah, I think you're probably onto something with Toy Story Mania.
I'm telling you.
With the movie coming out. It might be one of those things that helps with an event
Yep.
Or I can't see them doing a Toy Story event, but it might help with whatever new characters they add to the storyline. I can't see them adding an event for Toy Story when they've got storyline.
I can.
Well, that would be really neat.
Do you know how big this movie is and how many millions and millions and millions of dollars they're going to throw into promotion for this? I think.
Yeah, but they've already put like all the storylines. Do you want to have half the characters as storyline and half of them as event?
I don't know. Maybe make them permanent content.
I'd be totally okay with, I'm always a fan of permanent content because I can just do it at my pace.
I could see them doing a Toy Story permanent content and a coinciding Toy Story Tower Challenge at the same time.
Oh, I could see that.
I could see two things happening at the same. Like,
I thought you meant like a full event, like with like
who knows? Who knows? It's so big. Maybe. I mean, look what they did for Wreck-It Ralph, and it's Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph is fun.
Wreck-It Ralph's awesome, but Wreck-It Ralph is not Toy Story. All right, let's move on. All right. All right. So we wanted to just talk and just wrap up the Tower Challenge as a whole. not just as one chapter, but the whole event. So I was able to get LeFou. I picked him up yesterday. Was able to welcome him into the kingdom. He can collect his own tokens, except for the cups right now. So I'm trying to get him to do that. When you get him, you get 24 gems for completing the Beauty and the Beast collection. So that's a nice little bonus that you get. So I was able to get him. You said you got him, right?
Yeah, and I was actually really surprised that we got the full 24 gems because we've already gotten 16 of them. If you have the other characters that were in that set, you would have already gotten 16 gems. I thought they would just give you an additional 8, which they've done in the past. They've only given, when they've added a character, they just add the additional gems. So for them to give the whole 24, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Now, a cup of tea you said you're still working on, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it, but I'm not going to sweat it. It's cute. I think it's a really adorable concession, and I'd love to have it in my park, but if I don't get it, I don't get it.
Yes.
So I might get it. I'm pretty close. I'm at like 47, so I might get it.
Oh, you're 47. You'll be fine. You have a day and a half.
45. Yeah. I think I can get it. You know.
You'll get it. You'll be fine. And I'm right around there. I'm at like 42, 43, so I'm feeling very confident as well. So good. So
but I don't have any of my Peter Pan characters at 10. So that's been slowing me down.
So overall thoughts on the Tower Challenge, Carrie? What do you think compared to other ones? Pacing, content, wrap this up for me in a bundle.
I mean, I thought it was a good tower challenge. I thought it was paced just about the same. I thought it was, a little easier than the Cricky one. So it was pretty typical of a tower challenge. I thought it was fine. So.
Okay.
I kind of hope they change up the tower challenge a little bit. Like you said, maybe change up the featured character that you can get, and if they're going to reuse character sets and things like that. I don't know how I don't want to change it up so much that it becomes like a new thing, but I think they tried with Cricky and they messed it up, and so now they're like reverting back to what it was before instead of tweaking the new thing.
No, that makes sense. I think that they were definitely trying something new with Cricky. I think also they're just trying to blast out comfy costumes. I think it's definitely was too much, and they dialed back to the Tower Challenge before Cricky. Like I bet if you put this Tower Challenge and the Tower Challenge before Cricky on paper, I guess that was the Mayor one, they would probably be pretty similar.
I also like that LeFou can collect both his tokens right away, because Mayor, you had to get to like level 6, and leveling Tower Challenge characters is always difficult. Like all of them are slow to level, which is fine because they're special characters. But like it was nice that LeFou can actually collect right away. Yes,
I agree. I thought the Tower Challenge the pacing was good. I thought, I think that the chests are the one things that I was not happy about, as opposed to the other events, and obviously getting the prize for completing Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 were disappointing. But yeah, that's it. I think it was an okay event. Definitely not one of my favorites or one I'll be talking about in the future. I
always like the big ones.
I hope that there is a new type of event soon. I hope that we're not going to be stuck in this back and forth of event Tower Challenge, event Tower Challenge, event Tower Challenge.
Well, I also like the regular events because you can place some of it offline instead of the Tower Challenges have to be 100% online. And my phone is so slow when connected to the internet on this game that it gets really tiring. 3 weeks of like not being able to do offline airplane mode on the game, it's a weird thing.
And that's for Tower Challenges?
Just for Tower Challenges. Yeah. On the regular events, you just have to log in whenever they release, like unlock new content, so that it connects to server once.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've seen a lot of people not happy that they have to play online, and that they have to play online. But I just think the doldrum of doing just two things back and forth it has some experienced players. I don't want to say bored, but tired out of doing them. I think it would really be beneficial if there was a third event type to cycle through. So I really hope that something like that happens on the sooner side rather than the later side.
yeah. Or even just a break. Like, I don't know if you saw the chart I did in the group with the time between each events and how it's just been progressively getting less and less. We had like one where it was like 2 days between the events.
Yeah.
And they used to, I mean, I think 90 days was a little long between events, but I mean, we used to get time to level your characters and work your storyline and that kind of thing. And now they just don't. And I don't know how like new players who have like all the storyline and characters and stuff are able to keep up. Like I'm still struggling to level my characters with back-to-back events. I have had to re-strategize. I used to not do any leveling around events, and you just can't do that anymore. You have to, because you'll never level your characters then now.
Yeah. No, I agree. I didn't level characters during the big events either, but with the information that we get from the sources, I'm able to put out those lists at the beginning of the event. Day one. Within a couple of hours of the event, I have a list up online, courtesy of a lot of people who do a lot of research, and I give you the do not level these characters lists, and as long as you stick to those lists, you can just keep pounding away at your other characters.
Yeah.
So,
that's helpful too.
I really think that being part of the community, getting resources like that, being in groups where you can bounce questions off of people and you can find out like how to maximize your cocoa, how to do all this stuff is like what separates someone who's just gonna dilly dally versus someone who's like a more serious player, I guess. But I'm sure there's lots of serious players that just play by themselves. There's millions and millions and millions of players, and our communities aren't that big. So,
yeah.
But anyway, enough of that. I think we need to move on. So that's it, Tower Challenge. We will get to some a little bit more wrap up to talk about that next week. But let's talk now about the information that we found out from the famous Chinese hackers. So they were back at it again with the leak of the April calendar rewards. Once the April Fool's Day calendar switched back to the regular calendar, they were able to data mine the daily rewards as they always do and gave us a little tidbit of information. On the 19th of April, a Snow White legendary chest is going to be the daily reward. What does that mean? Almost every time it means that the day before, which would be the 18th, is the beginning of a new event, and that the helper will be in that chest, which is Snow White. So you're looking at Snow White helpers for the event. This is just a little under 2 weeks between the end of the Tower Challenge and the beginning of the new event, which seems to be about the average now for how the content is being released. Another thing that I want to point out is that with the patches that have been rolling out, and this will require a new patch when to be downloaded for whatever the event is, balancing changes have been happening. And I've been predicting it and calling it for a long time, but I do think that Snow White balancing is happening soon. A lot of those characters require almost no tokens to like basically like 1 token per level to level up. They do not fall in line with what the balancing standard is, and I highly, highly suggest you get on your Snow White characters and get them leveling now.
Yes.
Also, if in between Snow White characters, Winnie the Pooh characters fall under that same umbrella. Wall-E and Eve fall under that umbrella. Your Rapunzel characters, get them leveling now. But Snow White, I think, is coming soon.
Well, I like to focus on the ones that you're predicting that also have characters that are painful. So, like Grumpy, is a pain to level. And so, yeah, I'm going to try to level him quickly so I don't have to, like, balance, because his quests take forever to get his tokens.
They do. They're 12-hour ones. 8 and 12, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And
Yeah.
it's just, so yeah, I try to focus on those. And same thing, like I said earlier, the evil queen being in the platinum chest, I'm trying to keep those tokens out of my platinum chest.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so like, I mean, Wally, even though like, if I don't get to balancing him, his tokens are easy to get. So I don't really worry about that quite as much. I focus on who do we think is going to balance and how hard are the tokens to get.
So, yeah, I guess quick thought. Well, we already really talked about how quickly the content it was being released and how you thought it was a little too quick at this point. So let's just move on past that and talk about what do we think the new event is going to be. So I looked up on Disney, what Disney movies are coming out. So here's one that I think everyone's been talking about, and everyone thinks it's going to be. It's a movie called Penguin. Penguin is Disney's 8th theatrical release from Disney Nature, and it follows a penguin named Steve, who searches for a partner to start a family in the Antarctic. The release date of the movie is Wednesday, April 17th, a day before the event begins, which is Earth Day. And yeah. So
totally gonna have penguins running around the park.
Penguins, yes.
I'm absolutely on board.
If
we can have a penguin slide as one of the attractions.
Penguins. If there's a penguin named Steve, I will never stop playing this game. The other movie is that the next one is then Avengers. Avengers Endgame is the end of April. I personally don't think that the game is ready for Avengers. I think Star Wars would come before Avengers.
I don't think the Disney Magic Kingdoms community could handle the explosion of excitement that would come from Connie if Avengers got added to the game.
I agree. And then
I don't think it's going to be Avengers.
Yeah,
no.
And then Aladdin is at the end of May, so I don't think that this is going to be anything Aladdin related either. So it's a mystery. No one really knows what's coming. Real quick, if you had one guess, what do you think it is?
I can tell you what I hope it is, but sure. I couldn't even begin to...
What do you hope it is?
I'm with you. I mean, I want Coco, but I'd like that at Dia de los Muertos, so I want Moana. I love Moana.
Team Moana.
And so I would love to have... And they've already established they can use the waterways and stuff. Like, can you imagine, her, talking to the river and everything? And, it would be just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm Team Moana. Yes, I hope so. Finding Nemo, Finding Dory would be really fun too. But we will see. So yeah, so that's it for that. So that's all I have for that section. So we will see what the new event is as we get more information. You know that we'll talk about it. Follow us at ATK Podcast or Facebook.com/ATK Podcast. You can also join our group. And
we should start getting clues probably next week.
Yeah, I would be surprised if next Friday was a live stream.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking if they don't start dropping clues this Friday, they'll start dropping clues Monday in advance of the live stream.
Yes.
I would be really surprised if Gameloft doesn't start doing their teasers either Friday or Monday.
All right, well, we will see. All right, so now, if you've been listening and you are interested in our giveaway of 3 mystery legendary chests, we have the final word of the phrase. The final word of the phrase is bite. That's bite as in chomp chomp, like eat a meal. Bite, B-I-T-E. So that is the final word. The 5th and final word is bite. So go ahead and take those words and unscramble them to get a famous Disney phrase and put that in the giveaway link that is in the show notes. It's also available on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Good luck.
I mean, I had it at the first clue. It's obvious, isn't it?
I don't know. A was the first clue. If you got it with A, then you deserve those legendary chests.
I haven't a clue, and I wasn't going to enter the legendary chests, and I want to make sure they go to someone who doesn't have characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed. Like, this has been an interesting. I've been staring at them a lot. So.
Well, I hope you figure it out at least. And if you don't, I'll tell you what it is after the contest is over. All right. Now is a new segment requested by the community. It's the Disney Dad Joke of the Week, because I don't make enough dad jokes during the show. So, courtesy of Maria, she said, "Why are there no planes where Peter Pan lives?" Because there's a sign that says Never Neverland. All right, you're welcome. I'll start coming up with some more, and there we go. All right, so now we're gonna move on into our next segment. Is it worth it? This is a segment where we talk about the premium characters and attractions in the game. Now, this one is a little bit different, since it's technically something that's not required. For the storyline, you do not need to build this, so it's considered optional, but that's why we'll talk about it here. And it's Sword in the Stone. Sword in the Stone, it costs a whopping 75,000 magic. It comes to you very, very early in the game, yeah.
I think it comes before even Merlin.
It comes right at Merlin, I think, right around there. And the reason is because it I think it does come before Merlin, because it does. You're right. It does collect the Sword in the Stone book tokens, which you use to level up Merlin. When I first saw this icon, when I was doing the research, I was like, "What is that?"
Like, you only do it to level 2. And
I was like, "What is that?" And then I had to go back in time and think about the 5 minutes I needed those tokens. It also drops Aurora ears and large shield tokens for Philip. And those both take a while to get, so it's not too shabby. It's an 8-hour collect time. The Sword in the Stone attraction is actually pretty small. It's a 10 by 10. So in size comparison, it's small. And that's about it. Obviously it collects magic and it collects experience, but it's not too much. It's basically based on an attraction they have in the theme parks where, they have someone dressed up as, either Arthur or Merlin, and they're there and they invite people up to try to pull the sword out of the stone. They make it like a little theatrical thing. But yeah,
it collects a lot of magic too, though.
Yeah.
You didn't say, but it's 145 magic every 2 hours.
It's an 8-hour collect time. That's the information.
Oh, I was reading the build time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's an 8-hour collect time. So it's the standard 8-hour collect time.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so in my opinion, yes, absolutely, this is worth it. Here's an interesting fact too, is that when it first came out, when the game first came out, it cost 495 gems.
Holy cow.
495 gems!
I would not have spent 495 gems on that.
Was it worth it? No way!
No.
For 75,000 magic, it's a no-brainer to me. That 75,000 magic, though, at the beginning of the game is a lot. I remember looking at it and thinking, like, I had to save for it. So it took a while, but if you're a newer player and you're thinking about Sword in the Stone, definitely get your hands on it. It's a great attraction to have, especially later on. If you've already got your book tokens,
Which you probably do, let's be real here.
All 6 of them, then, you don't need it right now.
No.
Because then Aurora and Philip don't come around for a long time. They probably added those in because they felt bad for how terrible it was. And if it didn't collect Aurora ears and large shield tokens, I'd say no, it's probably not worth it. But
I think it would still be worth it eventually, but whenever.
It's nice to have in your park. It's a nice attraction just to have. There's a beautiful rainbow over it.
I love the animation.
The animation's nice.
When the kid pulls the sword out, it's adorable.
So is it worth it? Yes, it's worth
Yeah,
it.
I agree. No, it was that and the spinning wheel when you get to Sleeping Beauty really do make a big difference. And um, but the spinning wheel is gems. But the Sword and the Stone being magic, I would say, at some point in the game you're gonna have it because it's magic.
Yes.
But I wouldn't go broke getting it. If you're struggling with magic, don't get it yet.
Yep. It can wait, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that's Is It Worth It for this week. It was a little different than usual. But hey, we got to cover everything, right? And we're going to run out of stuff to talk about at some point, so we might as well go over it all. All right. Cool. Let's move on into the next section. We got a lot of stuff in here. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report.
I love that song.
Feature report is a segment where we talk about an idea or feature we'd like to see implemented into the game. The first one comes from Nicole. Nicole says, I would like an undo button for decorating the park. I can't tell you how many times I've moved an attraction in hopes of another one fitting, and then it doesn't fit. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
There are many times where I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just move this one up here, and then this other one will go right in, and then it doesn't by like one square. There's like that one little nugget square in the corner that it doesn't fit, and so then I have to hit that. I have to bring the other go to there. I have to bring the other piece back.
Yeah. No, I agree. Or even just like being able to like put a building there, or like temporarily hold a building up or fit that down or something. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. Like, it's really frustrating when you think that that stuff's going to fit and you move things around and then it doesn't fit and then you have to remember how you had it configured before.
Yeah.
So I 100% am on board with this idea. I love it, Nicole.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicole. Great idea. All right. So the next two actually, are from Hayden. Hayden says, it would be great if we had a notice board on Main Street where you had the ability to replay storylines and earn the rewards that you missed previously. Well, yes, it would be awesome. But I think Gameloft wants to sell legendary chests. I think that earning rewards and stuff that you missed previously, I think that that's going one step too far as like a feature. Because they do it in different ways, either by legendary chests or by tower challenges, allowing you to get characters that way. But what I would love to see is the ability, like, if you go and you buy Snow White legendary chests, right? And you get all the dwarves, you get Snow White, you get the Evil Queen, right? You complete the collection. It would be cool if there was a building on Main Street or something like you said, where you could click on it and you could start the storyline from the actual event, and you got to play the event because for people like me, I missed so many events. I missed Winnie the Pooh. I love Winnie the Pooh. I'd love to do the Winnie the Pooh event. I'd love to do
the Frozen event. I came in at Beauty and the Beast, so
yeah, Frozen event. I'd love to do all the events. They have all that storyline. They have it all there. The dialogue's there. The animations are there. So I'd love to just be able to do it. Like, instead of just sending my Snow White characters out for 2-hour quests or 4-hour quests that they're just doing the same repetitive thing. Like, I'd love to be sending them out to do a story and to get more of that dialogue.
Well, and even they've had some just spectacular final battle arenas that I would love to replay, like the Beauty and the Beast storyline, just to get that final battle where you have all the characters throwing things at Gaston, or Lion King too. They had just this really cool series of animation during the battle. And if you could replay it without, let's say you can replay it without getting any rewards, just replay it, for fun, I absolutely would, just for some of those battle animations and getting those cool arenas in the middle of your park for a temporary, show kind of thing.
I mean, the only other thing they would have to do is they'd have to make a separate arena space, since the tower and whatever the current event thing is going on in that space, they wouldn't want to interfere with that. So they would need to just move it, to another spot. But You know, just have like a classic event spot or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that in a way that would spur people to want to buy more legendary chests.
In a way, yeah. And I'm also like, I'm glad they've never made any more arenas available for purchase, but I'm also sad because, like I said, they've had some beautiful. But I think they learned from the Omnidroid City not to take up an entire block with an arena, because as cool as it is, like it's annoying. It takes up so much space.
Ridiculous.
You know?
Is Omnidroid City worth it? No. Okay.
I mean, it is for character tokens, but
yeah,
no, not for space.
All right. From Hayden, the other idea that he had, it would be cool if there was a crafting board in the game where you could make new items. I think that's a very cool idea. Carrie, you had some stuff to say about that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was thinking the idea reminded me of, I played Kingdom Hearts, but the new Kingdom Hearts came out, and they do what they call synthesis, and you collect things throughout the game, and you make new weapons and things like that. So I thought it might be cool, like if there's types of items you can synthesize to craft new decorations or concession stands, and you could have some decorations may take 5 of one item and 4 of another item, and then the next decoration to build might take 10, and so you decide, do I want to save for 10 or do I want to get the one with 5? Some of these items might be more rare than others. They could be rewards from mini events. They could be maybe really rare in the chests or something like that. So I love the idea. I thought it was a cool, refreshing idea, and it's kind of fun. Like if you build a decoration, you'd be like, I made that. Like that was mine.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very cool idea. And like you said, there can be like stuff for mini events, right? But there could also be just let's go to the basics, right? Like they can have like just a token, like regular old like crafting token that's just like a random super rare drop, right? Like like when you're clicking on tokens and you get like a chest, right? On characters, and you'll get a chest. Like maybe like you randomly just get like a needle and thread, or a piece of copper, or whatever it is, and then once you collect all that stuff, you can go into the crafting place and you can make those decisions. But then if you win a leaderboard, there are certain items that you can craft for leaderboards, maybe costumes or other things that are kind of harder to obtain and cool, and you can add new stuff. You can have like concessions that are only obtainable through crafting,
like the Dumbo ears. Let's do that.
So yeah,
maybe they could introduce it when they introduce Pinocchio, and you have to go to Geppetto to craft.
Oh,
in a little workshop.
Geppetto's workshop. That's a fantastic idea.
Because they use Merlin like that. Like why not have a Geppetto's workshop? And you're trading in tokens for stuff like that. They could make you wait 24 hours for it to be done building. And yeah, I think it's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Hayden, for submitting those two. He actually submitted another one right before the show started, but we are definitely full on content. So stick around for next week for Hayden's other idea that he just had. And finally, from Nicole. Nicole said, I would love for the drops token on the home screen to let us know even if they're not in the right costume. With so many outfits, it's hard to keep track. And I just discovered that Minnie, who was previously in her lunar costume, could drop Alice in Wonderland tokens.
Yes. Well, also attractions. If you have attractions put away. If it's put away, it's not going to give you the drop token until you put that attraction out. So, I think they need to tell you anytime that you might have an opportunity.
So wait a minute. If you have a character at home, and let's see what. So I'm new to the home thing, right? As my listeners all know. So when I have characters at home, every time I level up a character, right, I immediately go home and I look for the people that have moved up to collect tokens. I do have all my attractions out right now, but are you telling me that if I didn't have an attraction out, they wouldn't be moved up?
Yep. So for instance, I had all my Aladdin attractions put away for a while, and I leveled one of the Aladdin characters and didn't even think about that they were put away. And I was like, man, I thought this guy got more, and it was a long level. I mean, you can always eventually see it when you get into the screen and you click the token and it shows you the menu and it says build this XYZ or put them in this costume. But like if you've got a 16-hour level, that's 16 hours where you have no idea that you could have had another person helping you level had you just put out a building or had you changed the costume.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really, I agree. It's a weird, frustrating thing. And it's such a small fix. Like they've already got the programming for it. Like, I think, and okay, so what's the harm? Like you return it to the kingdom and then you go and you click the quest thing and you notice, okay, there's no tokens at the top because the attraction's not put out. Well, it's grayed out. And then you realize, oh, hey, maybe I need to put an attraction out, or maybe I need to put a costume out.
Or even, let's talk about the UI. Like when you click on a character to send them out on their tasks, right? Like if they're not in the right costume, and there's a token to collect, like at the top, the token should still be there, but it should be grayed out.
Yeah. And it's the same with the attractions, I believe, too.
Right. That's how it should be.
It's already built in, so all they have to do now is just add the drops token bubble, and so you return it, and then you see that that's all out, and you realize, okay, now there's one more step I have to do to get this drop token.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing it when you've welcomed that character after 16 hours, and then you see, and you're like, okay, like that was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're racing a clock, if this is a character you're trying to beat game loft to a rebalance. That would be really frustrating, especially.
Sure. Well, yeah, great idea. I'd love to see that implemented. If you have a feature you'd like to see implemented, please write in using any of our various social media platforms and let us know. Your idea could be on next week's show. All right, now we're going to go around the community real quick, and we're going to highlight Tom Wright, once again, the official concept designer of Around the Kingdom. I just give him that title, but so it's his now forever. So he has brought us his own concept ideas of what he thinks would be really cool if an event or permanent content. He's come up with all different ideas. He actually came out with a really good Dumbo one, which was actually pretty close when you look at his choices. So
Right, is better.
Yeah. So here's his idea for a Finding Nemo, Finding Dory combined event idea. So the first thing that he has is that this is going to be a full event with 7 characters. The first set of characters would be Nemo, Dory, and Marlin, who's Nemo's dad. And then the second set would be Hank, who I love. He has Hank as a premium character. Then Crush, Squirt as a premium character, and Bruce. I think those are all pretty cool characters. What do you think about them?
I think the only thing I worry about with Finding Nemo characters is some of them are so tiny that, like, sometimes it's hard to find Sebastian around your park and stuff. So I would worry that, like, I'd have a really hard time finding them. And then part of the fun of the game is being able to appreciate the animations. But I mean, I love the characters. Like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I hope they adjust some of the scale if they do Finding Nemo, so you can see them better in the waterways.
Well, you'd find Bruce with no problem.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And Hank would be running around. My only thing
Hank should be on land.
Yeah, the only thing I think that I would change would be taking Squirt out. I don't think you need Crush and Squirt. I think that that one of them would be cool to have in, but like I think like the like the little octopus that like poops ink when he gets scared would be funny. Or something of that nature. So
no, I think they should do that the pelican.
Oh, the mine pelican. Yes, mine.
No.
Those are the seagulls. The pelican. Yes.
That helps. That like he
puts him in his mouth to take him around. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be fun because then you can also have a combined task with Marlin or something, and the pelican's flying around with him in the mouth.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. All right, so for the event, he has 4 new attractions. One is the Reef, which would be cool to have in the water. The Shark's Lair, with a submarine, down in the submarine. Then he has a Crush Coaster, which would be probably something cool. And he has that as the premium attraction. Be something cool, going around the different, waves and stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then the Marine Life Institute would definitely be a cool on-land one. 3 new concessions: the Bubble Tea Stand, Nemo Balloons, and the Dory Hat Stand. I think those are pretty cute ideas. I'd love to see Dory hats.
That'd be cute. Yeah, and I love the Nemo balloon idea. I think.
Yeah. And then we have 5 new decorations. Let's not have 5 decorations. let's keep the decorations down because they're so hard to get now. Now you have to get them in chests.
Yeah, but I mean they usually do because I mean he's included. I'm sorry, I'm reading ahead.
No, you're right. You're right. He's including
the statue.
The statue for the award. Okay, 4. All right, Tom. You're still an A+ in my book. So he has the sea sponge decoration, the clam bench because we need more benches. We need more benches. A just keep swimming sign. That's like my favorite thing of this whole event. And then a bubble blower. And then the golden goggles statue, which would be your event reward for the leaderboard.
Golden goggles. Oh, the
scuba goggles or
P. Herman 42 Wallaby Lane or something like that.
Yeah, Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Yeah,
that'd be really cute.
And then, of course, a new parade float designed based on Mr. Ray, which I think is cute, which would have sea creatures and the mine seagulls. How cool would it be to go watch your parade and then you can zoom in on it to hear it and then just hear mine, right?
I'd have to do that while my husband's sleeping. Just lay it next to his head, because I'm sure he'd love that.
Yeah, who doesn't? I need to change my ringtone, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly.
But very cool.
It's a cool design event. I'm all for it. I love Finding Nemo. Like I said, my only concern about Nemo is just the physical size of the characters.
Sure.
Having a lot of little characters. But they've rescaled characters before too. Mrs. Potts used to be gigantic. She was huge, and they brought her down to a better size. And so I think they could definitely play with some scaling a little bit.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Tom. As always. I love this event, and we look forward to highlighting other concepts of yours in the future. So, no community questions this week. We had a lot to talk about, so I didn't reach out. If you have a question, though, you can always bring it to the group and always, ask me, and I can always bring it on the show using any of our various social media platforms. Some other things in the Kingdom section where I like to just recap other things. Nothing really to talk about here. Everything that we've talked about with the events and the chests that were available. We talked about all earlier in the show. So we'll kind of get back to normal with this part of the show and this segment once we return to normal post-event. All right, we have 2 new 5-star ratings. So thank you to the 2 people who gave us 5-star ratings. And we do have 1 new 5-star review in the United States. As we talked about last week, the international reviews, I now will get a monthly report on that. So when I get the monthly report, I will read those then. But for in the United States, from Rachel Podcasts, she says, 1 year later. Today is the 365th day I've been playing this game. After 1 year, I found this podcast and I'm thrilled. It's like having friends who love Disney and this game in my ear each week. I still manage to learn new things from the podcast, clicking on the Coco to see which characters to send out. I appreciate what you do, and don't stop.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it means a lot. This is why I do it. I want it to be a community podcast. I want people to listen and just have fun and share the love of Disney that I have and that my guests have. And thank you, Rachel.
I've learned things too, and I've been playing for a while. I don't remember what episode. There was somebody said something in the new player tip of the week, and my jaw hit the ground. I was like, changed my life. It was amazing. So I don't remember what it was now. I'm sorry.
My mind blown time was when I learned how the notifications worked. You know, so that I knew like when parade tents were cooled down and characters had leveled up. Those are my big mind blowing events. So,
yeah.
But all right, we're going late here, so let's get to shout outs. This week's shout out is to Sabrina. Thank you, Sabrina, for being this week's Spotlight contributor to the group. You've been doing some awesome content. You've been talking to people. You've been posting, really making the community a better place. So thank you so much to Sabrina. Carrie, you have any shout outs?
I think I'm going to thank Daniel because I have mercilessly stolen his layouts like so many times now, and I appreciate it. So I appreciate because I can tell he puts a lot of work into it, and it's, you know, so, and it's so nice of him to put it out there so that people can mercilessly steal them. So
awesome. Cool. All right. Well, next week's show, a geeky chick is back after a way too long hiatus. We'll catch up with her to see how she's been faring in the kingdom, how the Tower Challenge went for her, and of course, talking about the upcoming news that we find out this week. And then I usually don't have two people booked, but the following week, Daniel's coming back on the show. He was such a big hit. He's been highly requested to come back, so Daniel will be joining us again to talk about probably the next event that will be right around the corner. So stick around. We got two awesome guests coming up. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else about any breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways, when new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and the other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link to our group will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about. You can even just write in if you want to say hi. We're now on YouTube. If you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, please head on over, subscribe to the channel, and like the video. Smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel also will be in the show notes. If you want to help support the show, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, but helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We are halfway towards our first goal to help the production of the show, and it's a great way to show your support for about $1 an episode. It's like a cup of coffee a month. All Patreons will get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link will be in the show notes. Thank you so much again for joining us this week. I am Steve Squirrel. For myself and Carrie, we hope you have a great night, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Bye.